A few years ago, I quit my job at a billion-dollar company. At 17, I was the youngest full-time employee at that startup, joining before it became one of the UK's biggest companies. I spent 3 years helping build something huge, working side by side with some of the most ambitious people I'd ever met. Looking back, it was a great experience for a while until something changed. You're probably wondering, why'd you quit such an amazing opportunity? Well, at first, I was learning new things every single day. There was no process, so I had to figure things out on my own. I learned the best way to get people's attention was to make their lives easier. So I went for the tasks nobody wanted to do. In other words, the boring and repetitive stuff. After months of proving myself, they finally trusted me with more important things, which was great. But after a while, the growth slowed down. I started hitting a wall. I'd met everyone at the company, and my job got almost too comfortable. The problem with comfort is it kills ambition. The company had also grown so much that asking for salary increases became impossible. No matter how much I did, the pay raises were tiny, and I felt more and more undervalued each time. Don't get me wrong, a salary then was more than enough for me. But as I started to get more experience, I got reached out to by other companies offering me much better terms. So I started to have doubts. The more experience you have, the more people are willing to pay for your time. And if you're starting to build a name for yourself, then your price goes even higher. I was also working on side projects in the evenings that were paying me more than my full-time job. So it no longer made sense financially for me to stay. I was spending at least 5 days a week from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., but earning less than something taking just a few hours of my time. I think the moment it makes sense to leave a company is when the reason you joined fades away. I stopped learning. That's what I came to do. And if I wasn't learning anymore, I had to go somewhere else, especially if things like compensation were lacking too. Look, every job has its tough moments, but the main one for me was handling my boss. During the pandemic, I had to move out of town because I couldn't find a new apartment to live in. My entire job was already remote, and most people at the company were working from home. Yet, my boss forced me to go into the office a few times a week for no reason at all. So there I was, waking up at 5:30 a.m., spending even more time catching the first bus back to London, sitting at my desk, doing the exact same work I could have done from home. Learning and earning nothing more, exhausted. For what? Don't get me wrong, this was my first big chance, and I'll forever be grateful to the company for that. I learned a lot and worked with lots of great people, from the co-founders who were some of the smartest people I've ever met, to other colleagues I got to work with day in, day out. But my boss helped me realize that I will never work for someone like him again, no matter how much I'm paid. So I made the decision to quit. There's a saying that once a company gets bigger, life is easier. Well, I gotta disagree. As the company grew from tens of employees to hundreds, everything slowed down. In the early days, I could pitch an idea, and as a team we'd make it happen in less than a week. But it got so bad that a simple email could take weeks to get a response. People pretended to be busy instead of actually doing great work, and employees focused more on protecting their jobs than creating something meaningful. There was no reason to take a risk. It was easier just to keep your job and lay low. The larger we got, the more middle managers appeared out of nowhere. And with middle managers comes politics. These folks block projects from happening just because they don't like another manager. These growing pains happen to every big company. I mean, incentives change, right? Think about the thousands of Nvidia employees that are now millionaires. The same risk takers see it easier to now play it safe. Can you blame them? No. But surely more hungry people deserve to take their places. The thing is, most don't quit their job, even if they're miserable. And I get it. There's comfort in a paycheck. You get security in a routine. And there's that fear of the unknown. What if I leave and things don't work out? What if the new place is worse and now I'm stuck with no income? But what I learned is this: the real danger isn't in quitting. It's in staying too long at a place that no longer helps you be better. When quitting, I thought, if I don't leave now, will this be me in 5 or even 10 years? One of the hardest truths to accept in any job is that we are replaceable. No matter how much effort you put in, how many late nights you work, or how much you contribute to a company's success. If you leave, they will find someone else. It sounds discouraging, like nothing you do really matters. But to be honest, being replaceable isn't a bad thing. It's just how business works. Once you accept that, you can actually get a lot of peace of mind. Because if a company can replace you, you can leave without guilt when it's time to move on. You give a company your time and talent, and they compensate you. When that exchange no longer makes sense, it's okay to walk away. I was very nervous leaving somewhere I'd spent so long at, especially given it was my first job. But it was important to take control of my future and not do things the easy way. After leaving, I've helped build up a few more startups from nothing. Yep, it's harder work now, but more rewarding both financially and mentally. At 17, I was cleaning toilets. At 22, I've been lucky to earn more than I ever thought I could in such a short period of time. I now have flexibility, and I'm pretty happy. Looking back, quitting that job was one of the best decisions I ever made. And if you're in a position where you feel stuck, then maybe it's time to ask yourself, am I staying because I love it, or am I here because it's the safest thing to do? If it's the second one, you already know what to do.